Water leaks. That's nice.
What? Good morning.
Good morning. We're
Good.
live.
Oh, rough end of the week.
Yes. Scott,
Nancy, go ahead.
go tell them your story of your household.
Oh, Nancy and I, my Nancy, not you, Nancy,
And I mean, no, I don't got it.
somehow got the COVID bug. All worried about it here. And we're supposed to go on vacation Tuesday, so I'm feeling pretty good finally. Thursday, Friday was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But Nancy's still trying to get over her headache and whatnot. But yeah, it was a quick one actually. I mean, as far as colds, it was
Mm-hmm.
mainly my throat was so raw and headache. Hi Sheila, thanks. Yeah, Sheila and I tried to get together, and it just didn't work out last week for a live.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 45's having a meltdown.
Izzy.
Morning, morning, Gigi. He, like I think it was Karen said he said Mercedes instead of
Melania.
Melania. Mercedes Schlop.
And he had to read he was reading his thank yous off of a card last night. And the first one were his kids, and he was actually reading it. Like he doesn't know who his kids are.
He
Well,
forgot. Yeah, he forgot Eric.
and Eric's wife's the one who's going to give him all the money, man. He's got all kinds of problems.
Oh, bad. Yeah, it was good news out of the primaries. Most
Hmm.
people, most people hate him.
Yep,
The numbers look good. He would never in a million years win a primary or a general election.
that's true. And he's not going to win a general election because he has no money to run one. And not only that, but the good news for those of us who are on the ground in states that are Republican dominated, they got no money.
They're broke.
Now,
Michigan's fighting.
the state of Texas isn't broke, but Michigan's broke. Utah's not broke. Arizona's broke, and you can't run the down ticket down ballot people rely on the upper people above them bringing in some kind of money to help them through the national party. And that's when one of the things the Republicans have always traditionally gone in ahead of the Democrats by uh, sometimes 100% more money than they had. Now, uh, Biden took in more last week through the DNC than Trump's taken in the last few months. So, and even the Republicans sort of figured it out. There was a big discussion last night on MSNBC about this guy who's put forth um, uh, a motion to the board of the RNC so that they can't put any of the leadership until they find out who's going to be the candidate. So now everybody's in like, Nikki, stay in forever because then they can't take this money grab.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sad day, Debbie Joyce. And most of MAGA are still voting for him.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as numbers goes, it looks really good.
Yeah.
He's going down. He's not going anywhere
Mm-hmm.
except in the big house.
Or in his case, it'll be a little house with secret security we're paying to watch him. So we won't be able to see him on jail on MSNBC.
Like the federal Supreme Court, you can't have video access.
Right?
Yeah, you spotted a interesting MSNBC short.
Yes. Every once in a while, I'll see a news item, and then when I go back to look for it again, I can't find it. And this one seemed a little important to me because it was a woman reporting that the Supreme Court had issued a 57-page ruling uh, against Trump, saying he didn't have immunity. And so I thought, well, maybe it just happened because it was so early in the feed last night. And I went looking around and no other stations were reporting it. And I was like, because MSNBC is the last place that it reports things. And she said, we've just gotten the ruling, we're reading it, blah, blah. So I said, when I've done this, and then like the next day I can't find it at all, and it makes me crazy. So I sent it to Scott. I shared it with Scott and a friend of mine. And then today, when I opened my phone up, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find where I shared it. So I asked Scott, did you get an email from me last night? And he got it. He's got it on his phone. So until my prognosticating gnomes that tease me like this take it off your phone, at least I heard it was there again.
Yeah, it's like, but the strange thing is, it was dated February 6th.
Mm-hmm.
When this short was shared, that immunity was not granted. But there's been no,
Was it not granted by the Supreme Court in New York, in DC?
Yeah, right.
Was that on February 6th?
That could be.
Maybe that's what happened. But then why did it end up in my feed last night again?
When was DC? Yeah, I don't know. It's like recommended stuff comes in late sometime.
Yeah, but a month late?
Oh, yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The lady said to SCOTUS instead of DC.
Thank you, Karen Louise, because, and speaking of downloading things and printing things and getting to look at them, my printer broke. And I'm in the middle of doing a major study about healing crystals to work with Dr. Gale on a show about galactic groundings and healings. And I can't, I'm old school, people. I cannot read on a screen. I can read it, but it doesn't, I have to have it on a little hard thing. I'd still be doing it with clay tablets if I was that old. So I had to go. It's here. They delivered it last night. I have to install it today.
Oh no. Is Elon up to his old tricks? Elon's blocking internet services, SpaceX Starshield for troops in Taiwan. I haven't noticed what Space Karen's doing lately, because he's always a mess. SpaceX.
Whatever he's doing, it's going to be to hurt all of the rest of us. So
Always. 14 hours ago, SpaceX may be withholding satellite internet in Taiwan.
that's not good. Well, it's like them taking away from Ukraine. This is why, years ago, there used to be this debate about how much space should be run. Like if it's for your business, like if you're running phones and things, you should be able to have satellite capacity. But that none of the things that secure our state should have been sold, given off to an individual entity. And then he came in and I'm going to put men in outer space and do all this stuff. And that all happened. And one of my oldest son is, up until some of the stuff Alon's pulled now, I said, they shouldn't do that because that's our safety and security. Oh, well, he's an American. I said, first of all, he's not. He's originally from South Africa, and then his mother had to grab the kids and run to Canada when they started to have no fault divorce in South Africa. I mean, we're not talking the most stable human being.
Yeah, definitely. I think I read there was already talks for removing his partnership with SpaceX and the government and getting all this free shit.
Mm-hmm. We just need to tax the rich enough so we can pay for the things we need.
You know, it always takes a Democrat to recover from a Republican.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my friends that run the on the ground program for congressional people and state house people and all that stuff. They just got a multi-million-dollar contract for Wisconsin with the local party and the SEIU, and they're going to be working Wisconsin and Michigan. And this is a group. Well, we interviewed them. This is a group where they went in the last 6 weeks in Virginia, and there were 4 House districts they thought they could maybe win if they could really reach the people. So they used their system, and they won 3 of the 4 races. So, and they were doing that with the SEIU. So now they're going to go in with them and work with them in Wisconsin and Michigan. And it's an on the ground effort. And they send people door to door, and it's sort of a neighbor to neighbor thing. So you've got some new folks coming. He said I was talking to one of their techs that was dividing up with the new maps and trying to figure out where people are affiliated to. So you got some help coming, Scott.
Nice. Yeah. So my 3, 4 wands would be the internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
He's like demanding more money or something. It's causing the chaos and conflict. Wanting more money because he's broke. So he just randomly have it shut off for negotiation purposes instead of doing it the right way. We will make sure it stays on like they did in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it be threats or whatever. Queen of Coins, the foundation of money. Ace of Coins, the prosperity and Chariot is making it come through.
Mm-hmm.
But they may get fed up with Space Karen.
Yes.
With the Hermit Fool.
Mm-hmm.
Wishes fulfilled, and then intelligent leaders making a deal or something, but they're gonna get fed up with him. You know, he may own the company, but they would make it hard for him.
Yeah, well, Truman took the steel mills over for 2 seconds when he said, "We need steel, and you're not doing this." But the government does have the power to do that. It's interesting. I laid out 5 cards. I've got the 8 of Pentacles, which is someone who knows how to do a job, knows how to do it well, but they're imprisoned. They got the 8 of Swords. That's the second 8. Then we got the Page of Cups, which is an emotional liar. And then people meeting, this is reversed, people meeting in dark places, not doing good things. I think he's going to get thrown out because that's the 8 of Cups. That's the I'm out of here cards. But I can't remember when I've ever thrown anything and I had 3 8s.
Wow.
And not the good 8, which is the 8 of Wands, which is the building your own structures. 8s have to do with money and power. So I clearly see him getting cut out of this. Then that's the only reason he's there. Elon needs to behave himself because, you know, we may dislike you and they may write nasty things about you in newspapers. In Russia, when they get tired enough of you or that whole crew, you just don't walk near windows, you know, unless you want to take a quick trip down.
Full moon in Virgo last night. Well, right now, my diet is Immunity items.
Yeah, whatever I can swallow past my sore throat.
Oh, Space Karen Eric. That guy is so horrible.
He is.
Oh, hey, Celtics here. Nice to see you here too. What do the cards say about the future government business of Elon?
Okay.
You know, didn't they already put bids out for the rockets because his rockets blew up?
Mm-hmm.
They cut him off as the main source of rockets technology or something.
Yeah, they wanted to put payloads on rockets they thought might explode, so they had a little version of that.
Future with Elon. It feels more regulated. Like back in the day, they gave him a ton of money or whatever just to go for it. Build his spaceships.
So you can buy Twitter and then tear it apart.
And then he lost his funding he was probably hoping for through Tesla, the stock buyback or whatever. And through
I get he's on the Wheel of Fortune's turning on him. And those who thought he could do everything, that's the delusion card when it's reversed. Means people are starting to see the light. They're starting to see that there's nothing in them cups.
Working with Elon's like trying to work with Kim Jong-un.
You didn't get my last card in this reading, though, Scott. This was with the reverse Wheel of Fortune. It's the Tower.
Well, I got a death.
Mm-hmm.
Similar.
I told you.
It may be death of contracts here.
Mm-hmm. You hang around with the Putin and you get a real allergy to gravity.
Yeah, there's energy pushing away from him. We landed on the moon. I guess I got it working right.
Yep.
It said it fell over or something, but I got it working or whatever it's communicating.
Mm-hmm.
I got the moon guard here, so I'm like, oh, we landed on the moon.
Moon worked.
So yeah, it's like these secretive contracts and whatnot are going to be changing for him, so I don't see it working out. You got the Wheel of Fortune and
Wheel of Fortune reversed and the Tower.
And the Tower, and then I got a shadow work and then the death of him.
We don't wish anyone's death, but
Death of a cycle.
it could be the death of him being in the headlines. That would be lovely. I can think of a couple people that would be lovely if we could do.
Yeah, and he has such horrible talking points on Twitter X. It's so dumb. He always he'll repost on such bad things and such terrible comments, about human rights or other people. It's just horrid. Could you imagine if Taylor Swift did anything like that?
Taylor Swift's not going to spend her billions launching satellites. Thank you. We want to keep our mind on low lives and talk about the Republicans getting caught up with the Russian spy?
It was starred, right?
Yep.
Seen it somewhere.
9:52. Yes.
So yeah, Frank Flaguzzi talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Kirshner is saying they should be indicted for if they willingly knew.
There has got to be so much problems in the FBI. Because remember, a year ago, was it, that they dragged that guy out in New York? Said he was being paid by Russians.
McGonigal or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden you find out that somebody was giving these Republicans those supposedly confidential documents or told them where to look for them. Because Jordan and that whole group is not smart enough to put that all together themselves. And now they find out that this guy's up to his eyeballs with them. Okay. And God, Homer, anything they could do to get rid of that guy. Jesus.
They're all useful idiots. It's crazy. Go to Congress, it's a scream. Bradley Moss.
Oh, they're moving on it. It's going to happen. My out card is the Knight of Swords, which is sudden and rapid movement. They've already tracked down money about them. And they're going to find out that one of their connections was a woman that got them information. But this is that the values are going to move on in a good way. And the sun, I always read the sun as the most positive outcome, upside down or right side up. It'd be a little quicker if it was right side up. But the out card is the Knight of Swords is coming for. You got it too, huh?
I didn't get the Knight of Swords, but I got the Queen of Swords.
Oh, she's as good. We'll take her.
Lady Justice card. Passionate coming for him. Mm-hmm. The moon, I got 2 10s here. My moon October 10 and the 10 of Swords in the end here.
Do we think it's 10 weeks?
Yeah, any investigation is going to take time, but it's like a dark investigation starting, and it's coming for them.
We don't know how long they've been investigating him. They busted this guy off the plane, and they knew exactly what they were looking for. So they could have been doing this a lot longer than we know.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. There is an investigation. They have the Six of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and Duchess card, which is like the Empress star.
Mm-hmm.
So times are changing here. Their luck has run out. The Six of Swords wouldn't come in unless they're moving on it.
Right.
That's a movement.
Somebody's moving somewhere. For those of you who don't remember what the Six of Swords is in the traditional deck, that's the guy in the boat who's got a woman and a child in the boat, and he's sailing from rough seas to calmer waters. So the Six of Swords always means moving on. One of my decks, it's a woman running across a bridge that's built of swords. It's built of 6 swords, and it's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. Got too hot.
In the past, it shows they got busted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crap.
Is
evaluating the situation. They're busted. And then middle, I had my Ace of Cups, so it's like doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. That was a very good question because I like the answer.
So, it didn't, nothing in the cards, my cards said, like, we were asking if they're investigating. It didn't show any outcome of
what we saw was kind of the whole situation surrounding it. So
we aren't talking they are going to jail or they're indicted and all that. But
Hakeem Jeffries, we've seen him becoming the Speaker of the House before the end of the year. Somebody's got to disappear at their end.
This is true. I mean, there's so many moving parts to this whole mess. People retiring, people quitting, people getting sick. There's always members dying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, from natural causes or whatever. And then we got investigations.
If I had to live with their souls, I'd want to die too. I want to come back and try again.
I don't know how they can live with themselves. I mean, even if I could do it for a little while, I'd still be like, I gotta suck it up, you know. But no, just continue playing the game, lying to your constituents, lying to the American people.
That's the problem. Is it's not a game; it's a lifestyle, and they're stealing from us. The game is thievery. They're taking our money that we put in to pay for their salaries, and then they're screwing everybody up. So
The Democrats are finally growing a pair. Yeah, it's Garland too, and the DOJ needs to
yeah,
step it up too. Being the nice guy is over.
I don't think it's the nice guy. I think he wants to make sure, he wants to be absolutely sure before he does anything. And I can tell him there's nothing in the world, do we have a card that says it's absolutely sure going to be this? No.
No.
There's a risk one way or the other, no matter what happens.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think it feels like those little ears in his, little birds in his ears are chirping away that it's obvious Mr. Nice Guy isn't going to work. Mr. Center of the Road, I'm going to do everything by the book, to make everyone happy.
You can still do it by the book, but just do something.
Well, you know what I mean by the book.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, the partisan book.
Okay. Will there be some protests in mid-March in Russia? What a time to have an election. It's still cold there. Ooh.
That and
it's going to be 90 here tomorrow, Scott.
Wow.
And then it's going to be 50 2 days later. So grab your tan quickly.
What did I read? Like the median income is like $800 a month in Russia.
Yeah. So what's this asshole's name? Excuse me. What's that journalist's name? The idiot that went over there and interviewed Putin. See how nice my brain is? Tucker. That's right. I kept thinking it was with an F in the front of it, and I thought, no, I can't say that.
That's what I call him.
Tucker was in that shop, and they said what he rolled out in his cart is more than a family can spend in a week in groceries in Russia. And he's like, this is what they all spend.
Right.
And he was so amazed. The wheels don't roll when it's on the escalator.
Yeah, Walmart has that too.
Yeah, Walmart wanted to put one of those near my house. That's my proudest moment, was when we had the open vote and Walmart got voted that it couldn't build what it wanted to build. And we were the first ones in the world. I had phone calls after we won that campaign from Germany, from France, from all these countries, and about how did we do it, because Walmart's always so good at manipulating everything against them. I said, just get a bunch of citizens who ain't gonna, they thought they'd wear us down, and we met every week for 2.5 years informally as a group to defeat them. Plus we had a couple laws in our favor that were written for other reasons, but anyway, yeah. They're the most horrible place. I haven't been in a Walmart since I fought them. So, and they're all around me.
I'm getting angels above are bringing energy to energy and love from above to the Russian citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my Hierophant card, but it's also male spiritual energy.
Mm-hmm.
Knight of Wands is universal energy, and then I got my angelic card,
Mm-hmm.
angels and guides.
Right.
Like they're working hard. The angels above are working hard. I think the energy of Navalny passing is bringing
It's
universal
what he
light energy
said. He
too.
said, if I die, we're winning because they're so afraid they would kill me.
I see like the Kremlin or the Putin regime is using their finances. They will lock people up in a heartbeat here.
Mm-hmm.
So I sense fear of doing that. So I have the King of Coins, the Ace of Coins, and then my Four of Coins. And what I focused on was locked up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was popping out. So I think they're using, like telling the police, whatever, I'll give you an extra $50. You get rid of this protest or that protest
Right.
or whatever. Justice is coming. Life balances, the yin and yang.
Right.
Things are balancing out here. The Chariot, and then my magician, the creator.
Mm-hmm.
That can represent Navalny here.
Mm-hmm.
The energy above it's changing, so it's helping. But like I said, there is that fear of going out there, you could get locked up. But the energy is changing.
Yeah. What I see is the disillusionment is just beyond the pale, but they're not ready to move yet. They don't have the ability to move yet. Partly because that Prigozhin took his people and put them in an airplane and they all died. And right now, people are feeling very, very lied to about all movements. But then in the future, I see them getting the money or getting the value to move forward. And this is the planning night, so he's planning more. And they want their country back because they want their wealth back. They want their ability to do things back. What I think is going to happen is the U.S. and Europe is going to go after the Russian money that's just being held in banks. They're going to take it and use it in Ukraine.
Yeah, I think they are too. Debbie Joyce talking about the Walmart.
Oh dear. When they wanted to build this Walmart, that would have failed because it was going to be their first stab at an urban Walmart. And we had it analyzed by some business people. It's what they saw happening with it. But Walmart had at that point almost 20 million square feet of empty stores where they built the first Walmart stores in these small towns. Then when they'd suck them dry, then they'd build a regional Walmart, a great big one. And they left all these dead big box stores that, I mean, some places have been pretty good. There's a couple of them that have turned them into centralized school things out in the rural areas and stuff. But they're horribly built and they're hard to work with. But yeah, don't get me started. That gives me a headache too. That gives me almost the same headache as Trump. So
My neighbor, where I used to go, growing up on the farm, there was a Walmart in a neighbor town,
mm-hmm.
and like you said, after they
Sucked all the small businesses out, all the
sucked
money.
that up, then they built a huge one out east of town, and as far as I know, that building is still empty.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a grocery store next door too that failed. There was a pick and save that failed. Walmart sucked it up. We got all the business pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we found out they would suck up the business out of any businesses within 5 miles of them. And this was in an urban area. So we drew a circle and we all took different businesses to go to. And I couldn't believe it, but one of the guys that was part of our group went to the bougiest floral shop you can imagine. I mean, this place is unreal. I mean, it's got beautiful stuff, but it's really, really bougie. And he went in there and he went to talk to the manager and say, we need you to consider letting your people know they shouldn't support this Walmart because it sucks up all these businesses. And we had like the whole history of it and everything. And the manager threw him out of the store. He said, how dare you say our stuff would go like Walmart? Yep.
Thank you. Vote Dem 24 up and down the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
go look and
universe. Let's do an experiment. Everyone
what?
votes. Everyone who votes Democrats up and down the ballot, not just our group, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
See how the government works for 2 years. I think it would work pretty well.
And if you're worried about some relative that fell off the wrong end of your genetic line, and you're worried about them and their obsession with Trump, just go find 3 or 4 people who might not vote unless you stuffed them in the car and took them to the polling place, and go get them to vote with you and vote Democratic. Blank out their vote. A hate crime's enough.
Well, they've done that numerous times.
Yeah.
You know, if it could be a referral, but it's federal law too. Good morning, Kathy D.
Mm-hmm.
It's a federal law too, hate crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, like in Texas, they probably wouldn't even, in a red state, they might not even investigate it. So
Yeah, there was a guy who was dragged behind a truck and killed by a bunch of rednecks when Bush was governor, and they wouldn't let them in. But there are guidelines now where the feds can come in, and especially because this was a child. That's what Oklahoma doesn't want. They don't want them coming in and tearing up the school district, which they should, because you send your kid to school, you don't send them to be, because there were teachers that had been reported as making comments about this child.
Mm-hmm.
The classroom. There's just a whole lot of scum around it, but if it's bad enough, the feds can come in. Even if they're supposed to always be invited in by local law enforcement, but there's always a way to get in. And I know there's like a whole bunch of steps they have to go through, but it needs to happen, because if you have a child that's non-binary or any of the other exception to the rules of the right-wing Christians, you know, that has got to be terrifying. I'm so glad my kids are all past that, or they're like 6'6" and nobody's going to mess with them. But because my kids don't have guns, we're not a gun house.
No, it took the Fed. Your AG is basically a hate crime. It took the Fed. It took the feds to come in to finally get it moving on them.
Well, the feds were supposed to be in charge of it. They had to get a different group of feds, the ones out of Houston, to come get them.
Yeah.
The ones in Austin wouldn't move. So he goes on trial in a week or so.
Sweet justice is coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Karen. Clean up an aisle, FBI.
Yep.
We see a lot of these things, a lot of assets being arrested.
And maybe the ones in Congress. Yes.
I think that's why they're waiting. Don't want to complicate the Trump trials by indicting his co-conspirators.
Mm-hmm. Not Jack Smith style.
I believe this too, Holly.
Haley.
Yeah, I seen Haley and it's Holly, but you know.
Mhm. And also JFK Jr. is pulling votes from Trump, not Biden. I mean, they're just stupid kids that wouldn't vote anyway. You guys got to remember that the numbers that young people are voting in now is absolutely exceptional compared to what we had historically. Oh, I don't know anything about it, so this will be a good read.
Yeah, this has been ongoing.
It's a Federal Trade Commission not allowing the merger.
It wasn't gonna happen, and then they filed for another extension of a year
Mhm.
to try to make things happen. But if the merger would happen, 45 would probably get money.
Not enough. I can't imagine that.
No, but I mean, it's what they say there's like 600,000 users and it's losing money.
Yeah, good.
So I don't know what. Well, true social merger.
I got a yes, but it's because something in the middle is imbalanced. And it's got to do with two women, one of whom is Justice. And then I've got the sword and the page because at the end of the day, they're lying to them about what they have. And the sword says it's stuck in the ground. It's not moving as fast as they want. So, as if everything stayed the same right today, it could happen.
I kind of eventually, it's gonna go through some dark times, like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a whistleblower coming through.
Ah.
So like, because I still feel like it's being investigated for insider trading or the pump and dump stuff. It's going to go through some dark times here with a whistleblower coming through and taking charge of whatever's going on there with that merger and financially whatever. But I got the 8 of Cups in the end here. Like things revealed with the sun and some news coming out and having to walk away. So 8 of Cups walking away. My 6 8 of Wands can be news or energy movement, but then things come into light. The sun can mean success, but then I have walking away from the success. So like maybe there might be a deal of a merger, but then it gets faltered in the end.
Right. It could melt away. That's what I said. The sword, the way it was in that reading, it's stuck in the ground. It's going to stop things from moving ahead like they think so. I'm glad your internet connection's fixed, Angela. Angela was watching me. We were doing a show yesterday, and she disappeared 5 times in an hour and a half. But apparently Europe's back online.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Hi, Sheila, Inquisitive Tarot.
Are we talking about cinema or Carrie Lake? I missed that.
If it's Carrie Lake, that's the Senate race. It's coming up behind Gallego.
Yeah.
Or no, that's cinema. It's behind.
Well, I don't think cinema's even actually announced yet, has she?
Oh, she's announced as an independent. She's not running as a Democrat.
Right, I heard that, but
No, she's running.
She is running.
Mm-hmm. We can do 2 lines and see who's 10 points behind. Is it Carrie or is it cinema? Is Carrie running for governor again, or she's running for senator?
Senate. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Diego, Lake, and Cinema freeway.
Okay. I'm gonna do a line on Lake and a line on Cinema.
Okay. Lake, Senate. Lake, Senate. Lois thinks Cinema hasn't announced.
Oh, okay.
I don't think she has either, actually. From what I've read, that she's not officially announced, even though everyone kind of assumes. Okay.
I got both of them are losers. I mean, other than what we already know. But no, I didn't get a card on any of them that they're going to have a chance in hell.
Yeah.
I can show you the cards, but they're almost useless. It's like
There you go.
every garbage card you ever wanted.
I'm trying 2 on each.
Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
They're all bad. I don't know what to think.
There's not one of them. Even the one good card where it is bad. It's like the end of the reading is you're going to have to move on to something else. I mean, which is not a good card when you're trying to win an election. And that's the only yes they had. The only other one that has yes, and I think this is Cinema. She hasn't decided where she's going to go yet. Because nothing's working out the way she wants it. She has the High Priestess reversed, the Nine of Cups reversed. I mean, these are ugly cards. Is Cinema married? Yeah.
No, she's bi.
That doesn't mean they don't get married when they're bi. That means they can't get married. They just your partner could be in a dress or they could be in a tuxedo.
I don't think so.
But anyway, it shows there's some man that's going to come at the very end and screw it up. So,
Well, that's Ruben. So for Carrie Lake, I pulled 2 cards for each. Carrie Lake, I got the Page of Coins and then the 5 of Swords. Page of Coins has been taking that new path, trying to raise money, trying to get that new job. But the 5 of Swords, she's just a conflict, chaos person. She's a January 6th insurrectionist type. For Cinema, she could have been the star. She could have been the Empress. But she blew it with the 10 of Wands for her own greed and power, her own endeavors. She had everything she ever wanted. If only she would have been the person 10 years ago. But she burdened herself, became a vigilante, self-owned person. So then I pulled 2 for Ruben, and I got him in the House or in the Senate. So it's a waiting game, a patience game, playing the process of being elected. So it's all using your intuition, patience, which road did it take? But then I have him serving here.
Yeah, well, Ruben also belongs to a party that has money.
But yeah, Kirsten just blew up her career as far as in the Senate and whatnot.
Oh, do you know who got the most money in the last quarter through Act Blue, which is that thing that is always forever if you ever get on their list blowing up your messages with some person you never heard of really needs your help. You know, the cop that from Maryland, he got the most money in the last quarter for his campaign.
Dunn? Harry Dunn, yeah. I did hear that.
He got the most money. Guys, really, when you see a candidate you like, throw $5 towards them. You'd be amazed what a difference it makes. Now, if you don't got the $5, you don't got the $5, and that's okay. Oh, yes.
New York is going to put 45 in the poorhouse. Or at least legitimately on paper poorhouse.
I want to know about going to the garage sale in the lobby of the Trump Tower.
That's going to be E. Jean Carroll Tower.
She actually probably could open it up to all the women that Trump has raped, and she'd fill the place up.
Probably so. Letitia James says she's eyeing up 40 Wall Street.
Yeah, that's a better property as far as ever doing anything with it. NAG is not playing. Yeah, and the NRA went down this week.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
Reading out the evil. I like it a lot. Yeah. Carrie and Megan McCain were having a Twitter fight.
Mm-hmm.
Megan told her to
Go bounce hand.
hit the road, Jack. Ian, Carrie Lake has the same personality as Attila the Hun. Wheezy could tell cinema where to go. Can you read on August, September for communications disaster?
Okay.
Communications. I just got a notification from AccuWeather that there's major solar flares bursting out.
Yeah, you have a much better chance of getting it from the sun than someone from on the earth. Those suckers, and the ones we've had going over us are not small. Well, she's why you don't listen to Pam Gregory in the morning, because she always talks about all the solar flares we've had that we haven't had in 20 years.
Solar flares happen all the time.
No, they don't. There's been years where we'd maybe have 2 or 3 in the whole year. And in 1 month, this month, we had 18. I mean,
Correct.
yes, because
it happens.
Cycles. The sun has times that it gets crazier than others. Let's see. Hi, Gino. I know Gino.
August, September. August, September. Communications disaster.
I'm switching decks. My deck didn't want to shuffle.
I don't want to chariot. I don't know about, like a global disaster or anything like that. I do have. It feels like there might be something isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe a business gets shooken up.
Like supply chain stuff.
Yeah, I do have something that's always been helpful. Like maybe a plan or something has a major shakeup or something. Because I do have a tower on some kind of. So I got the 10 of Cups, star, and tower. So the 10 of Cups can be, this foundation, this happy home, something you use all the time. It can be a communications business. It could be like an Amazon or a Home Depot, whatever it is, right? Something has a tower, like a bankruptcy or a failure of some sort. So it feels like an isolated type of disaster. It doesn't feel like you know, a huge earthquake destroys AT&T or whatever it is, you know. I think there's plenty of other things in place already to replace this. You know, it feels like there could be a shakeup of like a, you know, UPS or FedEx or something to deal, you know, like, but there's other things in place. Knight of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, and the Chariot. There's other places in place that can, you know, substitute. So, like I said, it feels like there's going to be a shakeup and something of like that. You know.
Yeah. I see at the foundation there's two negative things going on. There's the Two of Pentacles, it's just things not melding together. And the Queen of Pentacles, it may be in, I think it could be in money flow in banking somehow. But people rally around, they've got other ways around it. They work with the people they trust. That's the Three of Pentacles. And it's a Six of Swords system, but what's going to happen is people are going to say, okay, I always invested in doing it that way, but I'm going to have to do it a different way now. But it'll work because you also have the Six of Wands where you beat the system. That's the guy riding into the city in normal decks with flags all around him. So I think, there's going to be something, but it's going to be more of a wake-up call that we need to make some changes. And you'll be all safe, Jean, because you're going to have all your stuff built up.
So the legal experts been saying that reason why SCOTUS is taking a little bit longer is for dissents to be written on immunity.
That's okay. Alito, he can't be going all the way back to the witch trials, which is what he quoted.
For immunity?
No, I can't see how witch trials would have anything to do with that.
You're right, but King Henry VIII was the almighty one. We have to look back to that time.
Well, there was one of the kings that one of the reasons witch trials really took off in England is because somebody convinced one of the kings that this illness he got was brought on by this woman not liking him much. So maybe we ought to watch what we say, Scott, because they might come looking for us.
I can't remember where I read it. There was an opinion or something out there that if Trump would win the election, that Thomas and Alito will retire, so a Republican can be replaced with someone younger to carry on the tradition of the 6-3 SCOTUS.
Picking baby brains, yeah. Thank you, Jean.
Thanks. Blessings, Jean.
No, I don't think the Poor People's Campaign is going to be. It's going to be a part of the Democratic victory in November, but I don't think it's.
Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Poor People's Campaign.
What's happened is.
Oh yeah,
organizations have figured out a lot of the techniques they use to register people and to make sure they did the follow-up to get them to the polls is successful. That's what I told you, that there's that group that's going to be targeting in your area. There's similar companies that do that same sort of high level, very sophisticated level of local organization, which is something the Democrats have never had. And the Republicans didn't need it. They just went to the churches. They just skipped building any substructure. They just went right to their churches. So
yeah, there's a lot of people that don't believe their vote will change anything, so they just don't ignore everything and just go on their life, do the best they can, and don't vote. So it's a good idea to try to reach as many people as you can.
we did it when we ran Obama's. We had we had a whole wing of folks that I hardly ever had to work with because they were really pretty together and organized. But when you registered a voter, that became your voter. And they did everything they could up to the very end to make sure they were getting out to vote. And we have 3 weeks of early voting. We're right now, if you're in certain primary states, your early voting's going on. I voted last Tuesday, but you can go get it out of the way, then you don't have to worry about it. I always had to vote early because I was always running campaigns and I couldn't not because I couldn't guarantee where I'd be on the day of the campaign. But really, it's the best way to do it. Bank up your votes. And when I used to live in a community of uh, some people drove, some people didn't, or if they drove, they only drove where they knew how to go. I used to have lunches, and I'd gather a whole carload of them up. We'd go out and vote, and then we'd go have lunch, and we'd sit and talk. There's 100 ways to get other people along with you to vote that might not vote otherwise. So, and now's the time to think about it, guys, because voting's going on. And next week, if Nancy hasn't recovered, then Scott will be back on and we'll be doing our normal Sunday thing. If Scott gets to Jamaica and has a wonderful time, which we're all hoping for, yes, then I'll be on and I'm going to be doing a show. And I've talked to a couple other people who might come on with me, but we're going to talk about what you need to be doing right now to be getting ready for November, or if you're in a state that has primaries, to be out there, and what you can do, even if you have a little bit of time, what you can do. What is Sotomayor's health?
Supposedly she's traveling with a medic, a personal doc or whatever.
Are we sure they're just not really close friends?
Well, I did hear she might be diabetic.
Oh, that's possibly true. Okay.
Sotomayor's health. Yeah, I can't for the life of me think of how there could be a descent for immunity.
Oh, I can. I mean, Clarence Thomas married Ginny, so if he's that delusional, he could write anything.
I mean, it's standard of law and how you could frame it.
Scott, you used the wrong word. You said standards. Standards.
True. But oh my god. Yeah.
She's got a doctor with her.
I got my illness card. Traveling.
Mm-hmm.
There's something underlying she wants to make sure of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so the moon, there's something that they're not telling us.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my health card, the bad health card, and then chariot traveling. So the body issue card.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my medic symbol. Crazy. Knight of Cups is being taken care of. This is something reoccurring that she's had for a long time, so it could be part of the diabetic factor if that's what it is. But I think she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You got strong DNA, success, and Page of Wands. Page of Wands is, keeping an eye on things. With the light is all about clarity, success, and hope and happiness. So, and then my DNA card, 9 and 10 of coins, is prosperity, balance. I think she's going to be fine. It's just to make sure issue. Hello, Abaya.
I got that she's traveling. She's in a chariot, but she's doing it. This is the Ace of Swords. She's doing it in a way she's very clear about what's going on around her. She wants to avoid the disaster. She wants to avoid the tower. So she's in a position where she's really watching it very closely, 4 of Pentacles, holding that tight. And her doctor's kind of cute. What can I say?
It's funny. I don't know. Just see that craziness that in Haiti, the wife was indicted
Right.
of the assassinated Haitian president from 2 years ago.
Well, if something happens to Donald and it happens in Mar-a-Lago, I'm sure that Melania will get more than a quick look.
I remember reading on that, and I was like, it shows the wife's involved. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been indicted. It's just, with all the corruption in Haiti, I can't believe they did it.
I can't believe he doesn't have 3 food tasters, but then
Supreme Court rule, he has
no.
We've been getting, he has no immunity, or they'll rule against that. He'll be kicked down to check-in. It'll be later in the week. It very well could be this week.
I think it's going to be within 2 to 3 days.
Usually they would do it on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
So that's 3 days. 2 to 3.
And basically, you can check the SCOTUS schedule and see when they're hearing things, and you'll know when they
The other thing
pop stuff out.
that struck me that why it's going to finally show up is Nicole Wallace comes back Monday to her afternoon show. And I had the funniest feeling, even though it seemed, I said, that's way too long when this whole thing was going on. But it'll hit the week she's on there. Because she'll have been sitting there for 3 months doing nothing but talking to babies.
So you're tired of listening to Alicia Menendez?
No, I think she's done a really good job. It's not that. I just saw that it's like, well, we're going to write this like it's a really good series. So we're going to wait till the real star, the one that's been there at the beginning, comes back. And that's where we're going to stick this earth-shaking story that's going to speed everything up. It's the universe being a good script writer. I think there are big chunks of that court that are going to rule it reluctantly, but they're just really, you got to realize, but look at what they did this week. They've made Marjorie Taylor Greene pay her $100,000 in fines for not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
They took it out of her salary, and they're picking on a poor divorced woman.
Yeah, it does feel like
they're going to drag their feet. They're really trying to push it to into summer, but I don't think they have much. They'll just having to keep dealing with Jack Smith if they don't do something. So
it feels like a 7-2 on a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to even dissent on no one is king is a crazy argument.
Yeah, I just blind pulled a card to see the vote, and I got the 7, so it's 7-2.
Oh, nice. Will higher education be revamped anytime soon?
It's not the higher education; it's the grade school education. You know, when I was in
critical thinking starts then.
Yeah, when I was at PBS in the early 70s, I remember we were working on a report where Texas had been the state that started this, but they would check the educational testing rates in the 4th grade. They'd look at how the students worked, and that's how they'd figure out how many prisons they needed to build. Because when the kids can't read and they can't function, then they don't have many options for ways to make money except illegally. And so, of course, Texas would be the state that instead of saying, how could we improve the schools and make things better? They said, oh, no, we'll just use that as our marker to build prisons. And that's what they use all over the country. So You want to fix this country, you start at grade 1, and you start before grade 1. You had preschool for little kids. And having been a mother locked in a house with 2 little kids while I was working on my master's, there's not a whole lot of way to intrigue your kids about the higher functions of finance, when you're the parent. But I would have gone nuts if it hadn't been for Sesame Street and those things. They helped so much with my kids because I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. My kids grew up on Barney.
Oh, my youngest grew up on Barney.
I keep telling my daughter to see if my granddaughter Mason likes Barney. She's obsessed with some other things that she showed her.
Mm-hmm.
I go, have you checked out Barney yet? See if she'll do if she'll be enveloped in. Oh, I haven't tried yet. I gotta do that.
My kids all like Mr. Rogers too.
Mm. But yeah, what you see on like the people that go to Trump rallies,
Mm-hmm.
you got these MAGA parents indoctrinating their kids at Trump rallies and saying the same dang things. There was this 10-year-old at a MAGA rally spewing the same stuff their parents said. So a lot of it's generational. It comes from teaching them from parents.
My parents taught me too, Scott, and it didn't stick. Because I woke up and I looked around and I said, this is BS. None of what they're telling me is true. Of course, I had the glaring choice of moving out of the Midwest and into Texas. What was really sad is watching the Midwest slowly develop so many of the attitudes of Texas as I bounced back and forth between the two.
Yeah. I mean, a lot has to do with your own soul. Your soul development. If you're a young soul, an older soul, that can differentiate the difference between stupidity and some people don't.
Empathy, any level of empathy.
Right. And I can see it. When also people that do not love their life don't have that empathy either. They gravitate towards a Trump because their lives aren't as fulfilled. So they want this king, this imaginary rich man that can change your life. There's a lot of that Kool-Aid type stuff going on too. So,
well, that goes back to the big daddy of religion. Some guy with a big white beard is going to come down and say you got good marks or bad marks. I think that's one of the first things when I was a kid. I was like, really, God doesn't have anything better to do than check out what's going on with me? Really?
Yeah, I was never enthralled with religion. I did the bare minimum to get through and get confirmed, and
I got thrown out of church, Scott.
left it behind. And that's the same thing I told for my daughters. And I go, just go through the schooling, have fun with your friends, get confirmed, and then it's your choice.
Yeah, but you're younger than I am. When I was in high school, we had Protestant faiths that didn't want their kids to date other kids that were Protestant faiths. And God help you if you dated a Catholic. And the Jewish kids were always nice because we had a really good rabbi who was very well known in our town. And I grew up, he lived on the other side of the block. I grew up with his kids. But, my parents would have locked me in my room if I threatened to go out with a Svedich. And there were 11 of them. I mean, there were a lot to pick from. Yeah. And then I went to college and I was like, by the time I was out of college, my parents were just like happy with me if I wasn't anti-war. So that's what I used to tell them, but it wasn't true. Did you see what they did to Doonesbury last week?
Oh, I think I got taken down. Yeah.
Gannett pulled his strip from their Sunday paper. And I have a copy of it and I've sent it out to everybody I can find. what it was a teacher really explaining how slavery worked. And the students were saying, "You're not supposed to be telling us this." And she said, "But you have to know." And they said, "But Florida doesn't want you to tell us this." And they said, "But we have to know." And she, at the end, they said, what's your next plan? Because you're not going to be able to teach any longer if you've said this. And she said, "My husband's got all our stuff in a truck. We're driving out of Florida." But they cut that cartoon. And I remember the stuff when I was a young person that used to be in his comics. And, you know, God, that's wrong, because at least the newspapers published what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did catch that on Twitter. Someone posted it,
Mm-hmm.
but it said it. They took it down. It's sad. It was truthful. Yeah, Jane, if you missed it earlier, 4 years I've never gotten the sea bug, and it caught up Nancy and I the middle of last week. So yes, be careful out there. I think possibly I just got my new booster vaccine
Mm-hmm.
couple weeks ago, so it was mainly only my throat and a headache once in a while. But my Nancy is struggling with a bad headache and fever. But her fever broke, so she's feeling better.
Just imagine how much worse it would be for her if she her body didn't have some kind of heads up from a vaccination.
Yeah, I mean, she works in medical, so they
you're gonna
demanded to get it. Yeah, I think the new booster or new strain,
it's not
whatever.
a booster. It's a new complete vaccine.
Right. I know we're saying booster, but since you've been back, but yeah, the new strain is it? I think it's been out since November or something
It's
like
the
that.
one that was all over Europe, and it's been very deadly over here, and actually deadlier to the youngins than the old people. And they get long-term COVID. I have a good friend of my youngest who's an adult. He's kind of between my youngest age and mine. He got COVID and he has long-term COVID, and it's really bad.
Oh, bummer. You never know.
Sorry, Debbie Joyce.
Unreal.
It's like somebody's face is going to be catching. Really?
Okay. Bless you. Looked at that.
Ian didn't hear it. We looked at them going after Jordan and Comer and all the rest of the clowns that have been supporting Putin in the House in relationship to what they're finding out about.
Yeah, I believe the DOJ will look into it if they were, Novavax at the end of October to Pfizer. I've never heard of Novavax, but I don't know. I just took what the VA gave me. I think the VA has been using Moderna products more.
Okay.
Will there ever be boundaries put for political salaries and benefits? Boundaries.
If you get out of the job and you go and do something horrible, they can cut your pension off.
Okay.
Or that they just can't automatically be raised. So when you leave, you're kind of like people with Social Security. When you leave, that's what you got,
Can you rephrase the question, Celtic Seer? She goes, will 2024 end well? Put a more specific in there. It ain't going to end well if there's a tornado in Nebraska, Anyway.
Yeah, you already had a tornado in Wisconsin.
I know. Yeah, a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 15 miles away. Didn't even know it happened. I was sleeping like a baby.
Didn't hear that train, huh?
And barns got ripped apart, and there was a piece of a log that went into the side of a truck.
That's a heavy duty wind.
It was.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Monica. Okay, boundaries.
Debbie Joyce. Boundaries.
At some point, they're going to remove the devil from it all. And it's going to take the Democrats to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you want anything done, you need to have a lot more Democrats in office. But yeah, there is going to be some strengths. So my dear card can be, usually when I see the strength as like a constitutional thing or, some kind of heavy thing. Three of coins is like a document put into place. Mm-hmm. And the devil, removing the devil. There is a lot of dark. It's basically like, I feel like the government and other agencies are sick of trying to fight the man, mm-hmm. to remove the greed and the dark money and everything in Congress. And then in the end, I have Knight of Coins, my Nine of Cups, which is the Democrats, and Ace of Coins, prosperity. So let's remove the dark money and have things in place that you can't cheat and steal and everything like that.
Right.
It gets better.
Right.
And it'll happen once all Democrats are, all three branches, and remove SCOTUS and all this stuff. When things get aligned, better things can happen.
I get it's not going to happen until we put boundaries on what people can give. Until then, there's not going to be a tower change. There's too much ways for people to make it look like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not. And thank you, Personal Transformation. Appreciate the 20.
Yeah, it takes a long time to make changes. We still haven't gotten out of the Trump tax code yet.
Mm-hmm.
2017. It's supposed to be moving. Alexi's brother is jailed? Oh, no.
Yeah.
That just happened?
2 days ago.
They jailed his brother 2 days ago.
When his mother was up standing outside the fence at 14 below zero, wanting his corpse. She got his corpse yesterday. But they had to sign a statement they wouldn't have a public funeral.
I seen something about that. I didn't know his brother was
mm-hmm.
arrested or detained or anything. Kitties. Ole Navalny's whereabouts are unknown. Unbelievable. Kremlin. Ole is the brother?
I think so. I don't know what his name is. I just know.
I don't think that would be his mother's name.
No.
They let her go.
Yeah, then they'd have the whole little babushka army coming after him.
Oh. Yeah, tornadoes can do strange things. Kathy D's saying the story. A tornado where the entire farmhouse was gone. Only the inside door was left standing in the ruins. And the lady's purse was hanging on the doorknob.
And she said she didn't put it there. So
I didn't put it there. The wind and whatever can do strange things.
What was the question we're reading? You can't do that to me, Scott.
I know.
The screen doesn't work that well.
Oh, shoot. I didn't star that. Did I?
It was Navalny's wife. She's safe.
Yeah, it was. I did start that. Yeah. Sorry. I seen that. I'm like, because we were just talking about the tornado near me. Anyway.
Yeah, she's been activated to move. That's not going to stop. She's going to carry his heritage forward. There's going to be parts of the world that will not be with her, but she's going to get aligned with the right people to help her get her message across. And she's going to do it more quietly. People aren't going to see it coming, but yeah, she's going to be fine. And they've gotten the security around them they need to keep the family safe.
Yeah, I got a lot of physical cards saying needing to be safe, like you may be speaking, but have security and lay low. Because I got 4 cups, 4 of swords, and 2 of swords. So there's a lot. There is some fear there. I mean, obviously, I would be too, but it's kind of like laying low because the devil's out there. I think the Kremlin would want to shut this down. The devil, the tower, and 6 of swords. They do not want that.
I've got a question after this one.
Okay. But yeah, for her in the end, I had the High Priestess. It's a soul contract to bring it all in. That is protection. The world, bringing the message around the world. The loss of her husband, and it's a battle. 5 of swords. So it's good cards, but it's also fearful cards. You know, the loss of her Alexei will always be a stain there, but I think she's protected. But yeah, bringing his energy won't fade away. In the past, I have the King of Wands, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Wands. So that King of Wands would represent him. 10 of Pentacles is prosperity, it's heritage, DNA, and then 8 of Wands bringing that message. So that's good. What was your last question?
I forgot.
Was it one of the comments?
Brilliant. It really was brilliant. No, I think it was something about will Putin make it to the end of the year?
Will Putin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord, we need this to end. Oh, and also prayers that Congress doesn't shut down the government. That's coming up this week too.
And you can help if you don't want them to do it. Call the main phone number in the White House, and if you're on the internet, you can find that number and tell them you don't want it shut down.
Just check in here. We've looked at this before. Texas won't be succeeding. They can't even.
They can't afford to.
They can't.
They can't. They've got this first or second busiest airport in DFW. They've got 7 military bases, and that's just the start of it. Texas spent. Look at how wonderfully they've run our government. They've spent $160 million of the state's own money instead of letting the feds handle the border. And it's worse than it ever was. So that tells you something. Oh, this is good. Celtic Seer. Lovely.
Yeah, and we've seen the people that were putting out signs, whatever, they can't even Spell succeed.
Yeah, that's
Succeed properly. Okay. Given the current political atmosphere, the ending of 2024. Well, thanks, Lulu Fish. When's Abbott shown the door? When he's voted out.
and it won't be for 2 years because we're off the national cycle.
We've seen what happened with Paxson.
Mm-hmm.
Indicted, trials, and still in office.
No, he didn't. He wasn't at an impeachment. And then Trump came in. They had the votes to impeach him. Then Trump came in and threatened people. And now we're in a full, all-out war within the Republican Party. That's the best thing that came from that whole mess. Is they're all after each other. It's like Cornyn is against Paxton and is trying to work with the people that. And we also had Abbott called a legislature to vote in school vouchers for religious schools. And the Republicans didn't vote for it. And the Republicans who came home to their districts here that had not supported Paxton were literally greeted in some cases with parades. Thank you for saving our public schools. So you've got this whole faction of people that think they can save their jobs by continuing to support public schools and saying that. And you've got Abbott hurriedly running up and setting up a whole bunch of people to run against the people who voted to keep public schools. This state is a friggin' mess. You don't know the half of it. I mean, when we sit here, we kind of go, what? You have to check.
Oh. My 2024 ending starts out with the devil. We got to remove the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And judgment upon the devil. I think that's the focus on this here. Getting up to the end is removing that negativity and that force of what 45 has put upon us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, top and bottom is judgment upon the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's still going to be some heartache. It's like at that point, we're still going to be reeling from 45.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the lag of MAGA, you know, and changing.
And all the folks he's left behind. Just imagine.
There's a lot of
we're going to be flipping over rocks for a while.
You know, he's still got Stephen Miller and all these other yahoos and Jack Prosaic or whatever his name is, and all these other right wingers.
I call him Jack Proboscis.
Yeah, that
knows.
So we're still going to be dealing with the heartbeat, how to move on, how to move forward. But things are good. Tides are turning. We still got Joe. 4 of Wands. We still got Joe in that White House, ready to pick up the pieces, the 7 of coins, move forward. There's still ongoing investigations. That could mean Jack Smith moves after the election on others. 6 of coins. 5 of Wands. Yeah, I think after the election is when the DOJ starts moving on everyone that's been criminal within the GOP or whoever. 'Cause this is King of Swords. 9 of Coins is my balancing card. Everything in life is balanced at this point.
Mhm.
5 of Wands is the Chaos Caucus in the GOP, and 6 of Coins is making things right. And it also made me reflect on, like, this could be the election too. 6 of Coins is putting your ballots out where you need to put it out. So I think
Mhm.
so. It's a end well good, yes. Feeling with these, with the Wheel of Fortune and the voting and everything.
Mhm.
But there's still going to be this chaos, this drag of MAGA and everything. And then we're going to see more indictments and movement after the election. So like hopefully Jimmy Jordan and Comer and all those other maggots that are still possibly reelected again are going to get indicted. And maybe that's when Jeffries actually gets moved.
Yep.
Have the election. He may get moved in quicker than January. It's possible. It feels like the GOP will slimly hold on until the election. You never know, but so yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. We have a comment that's written in Russian.
I see that.
Yes. I got to go find out who that is because they belong to both our channels. So
It was on your channel commented.
okay, they linked in from my channel. I'll go find you. I see that at that time, people are going to be feeling still all bright and happy because there's a whole lot of fighting and dissension going on. But then people get to the 7 of Cups and they start to, the fever kind of breaks a little bit and people begin to understand um, what the dissent is, how it's been placed on us. So we go into a 5 of Cups. People do that on New Year's anyway. They sit there in the 5 of Cups and, oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. But what the ending is, the Ace of Swords is upright. So justice is coming. And we have the Wheel of Fortune upright. So all over, I'd say people are still, like you said, we're still licking our wounds. Sometimes I get a feeling that whatever we ever do to somebody else is never enough until we decide just that it's not worth the emotional energy and let it go. So, and y'all keep writing stuff.
Mexico might take it back if Texas succeeds.
No, they don't want us either. And they're such lovely people. They really are, except for the cartels right in the border, which are there because of us, using guns made here. Just state of Texas legalize marijuana and tax it. Then it could be its own state. Anyway, if you guys are wondering what Scott and I are doing, we're making sure we absolutely haven't missed something because every once in a while we'll close it down and we'll go, oh God, that was a good question at the end. So
yeah, there's always questions that may have popped through and you missed it. Yeah,
a lot of astrologers have said this year's happening in 2 parts. And we should be on the downward spiral. Thank God. The full moon we had yesterday, and if you're in the United States, it was in the early morning yesterday, like 7:30 a.m. on Saturday.
Good.
I help with that one. But I read a couple of really good kind of summaries that made sense with what they were talking about. And it's that the energy that was released by this full moon was what started last September in like the 23rd full moon. So it's like that cycle's gone through. Dorothy Morgan does lunar cycles. She's brilliant at it. Listen to her. But what I got from it was, if you can look back at kind of where you were and what you were working on at that point in your life, the troubles from it, the good things from it. Anyway, it's kind of done. It's kind of done. So I'm so hoping that's true. Anyway, see anything else exciting that we can't live without talking about?
No.
If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go over and subscribe, so when I get rid of the person that wrote in Russian, if they don't look legit, we can replace them. And Scott will have a lovely vacation in Jamaica, we hope.
Yeah. If Nancy still feels like heck,
no, I wouldn't get in an airplane if I had a headache.
We're not going. So,
well, let me know.
She is feeling better today, so that's a good sign.
Good.
I mean, she will get over it, but if she can't travel,
well, is she still testing positive at all? Is she still shedding?
Yeah, she does feel better this morning. She slept well last night.
Good.
I didn't sleep well, but so I heard her sleeping soundly. So it was up a lot for some reason. Anyway, bring some inspiration out. If you'd like. My cards are just saying today is like, hold on to what you hold dear. The Four of Coins. It's like holding on to what you have. It's finances. It's budgeting and whatnot too. But the message I was hearing in my mind is hold on to what you have that you hold dear. That was the message.
Yeah, I'm going to use my Crystal Oracle deck, and I pulled the Master Healer, that we have to heal ourselves. We can't. No waiting for Big Daddy to come in and save you. And the long explanation is, okay.
2 weeks. Wow.
What?
No, I just.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is a crystal cluster of clear crystals. They can break off on their own, or they can stay together. And either way, they function, and it's time for us to understand that we can't hold on to everything we have. Master Healer Crystal assists you to delve deeply within yourself, allowing for acceptance and unconditional love to surrender to the essence of your own soul. This crystal is a living healer, forever changing, constantly growing as a master healer crystal. This crystal assists in self-healing on all levels: physical, emotional, and spiritual, and connecting with your own healing, receiving acceptance and unconditional love, and overcoming addictions. That was another big thing about this particular moon. If you've got a troublesome habit you need to get rid of, now's the time to do it. Okay. And the message from this diva, this stone comes with the message is heal yourself. Focus on self-healing and don't expect someone from the outside to bring your healing. So, and it's got a ceremony where you find yourself in a quiet place, close your eyes, focus on what you feel you need to work with. You can hold a crystal when you're doing this, but the image of this crystal in your mind will open you up to new healing gifts. Stay in the place where you feel some healing for a few minutes, and then thank yourself and the Crystal Diva for helping you. So that's your assignment this afternoon. There's no football games to watch. There's none of that crap going on.
Yep. None.
None. All done. Time to get better by ourselves. And then I think that is one of the problems with people that are using a limited mindset to make political choices is they just really want Big Daddy to roll in and make them all better. And that ain't going to happen.
Just quickly, Eleanor has posted this a few times. In Citizens United, it kind of just goes with the other reading we had. Is like it's going to take all Democrats up and down the ballot to have change, and getting rid of the corrupt SCOTUS. It's like Lawrence Tribe and others have said, any other person what Clarence Thomas did would be arrested and indicted for tax fraud and all that, you know. So the focus is up and down the ballot in the universe, up and down the ballot blue.
Yeah, and see, you have to see it happening. You have to really work. I mean, fake it till you make it. If when you first start to think of those images, your mind goes, no, that's never going to happen. Well, tell your mind to go take a leap, and that it is. Trust the fairies, the elves, the stones, whatever you want to empower. And I don't see any other. Y'all have some wonderful conversations between yourselves. I read them afterwards. They're kind of fun. But thank you to everyone who donated.
Yep, thank you. Blessing there. A new group. Not really.
It's going to show up like the Republicans showed up after the Whigs failed. If you've read that period of history, it's like a page in the book when you're going through it in school. Well, it wasn't a page. It was months. And when they met in Chicago and Lincoln got nominated, they had 22 ballots to get to him. It's
I don't know that.
The other thing is, if you don't know anything else, watch Lawrence O'Donnell. He will explain to you about why no one else can run than the tickets we have, because they don't have the money. They don't have the time to set up the committees to get the money. And if they show up with some other unknown entity paying all their bills, run like hell from them too.
Yeah, Michigan GOP is a mess. They're infighting. They're setting up two different.
Yeah.
The one person that's been corrupt won't leave, so they have basically two GOPs. Michigan's a mess.
One GOP is more than enough. Thank you.
Everyone have a blessed week, and thanks for joining, Nancy.
Yes, and enjoyed talking with y'all. And I'll be on Tuesday and Thursday at 1:00 Central Time.
There you go. Have a great one.
Okay, bye.
Good night.